unboxing the Android Max lapel mic from Microphones and More. Here we have in the box the Android Max lapel microphone from Microphones and More, directly as it comes from Amazon. The Android Max, as the name suggests, is a microphone that is specifically designed and wired for use with Android products such as Samsung, Nokia, HTC, Motorola and LG. Now the smart conversion adapter cable allows you to also use the Android Max with iOS Apple devices such as iPhone, smartphones, iPod Touch and iPad, etc. Now the Android Max is professional in every way. Let's first start at the box it comes in, and personally I think it's absolutely professional in its design and follows on the theme of the iPro Max and looks just a kit. On the front you'll find pictures of the inclusions, and on the back we have an intro description of the mic and its features and specifications. The specifications, which are the operating capabilities or boundaries if you like, reveal the quality of this mic and are pretty damn good for a mic at this price. The specs reveal that the model number for this mic is AND1A or AND-1A. Its directivity is unidirectional, which is ideal for a lapel mic. Now this is what a unidirectional pattern looks like, and it's ideal for a lapel microphone because in real life, as a working estimate, your microphone will pick up less than half as much sound from the sides, which is what you want, as from the front, and less than a tenth as much sound from the rear. Now this gives you more desired sound from the direction upon which it's coming and less undesired sound, which is why we mostly use a lapel mic for in the first place. Now it goes on to tell us the mic diameter, and this simply refers to the size of the microphone. And in the gene of lapel microphones, there is no significant practical sound quality difference in 1 or 2 mil difference in microphone size. This, however, is a pretty small lapel mic, and it's quite unobtrusive. Then it lists the microphone sensitivity of -47 decibels plus or minus 2 decibels. Now there's more to a good microphone than its sensitivities, and these figures don't tell much in isolation. However, microphone sensitivity in layman's terms is the magnitude of the volume of sound that a microphone can record for a given signal. Basically it's the loudness of the sound that the microphone can pick up. Now when a sound is made from a source, the microphone records the signal. The intensity of the signal recorded is the sensitivity or gain of that microphone. Now frequency range is stated as 20 to 20,000 Hertz or kHz. Frequency is measured in Hertz, and you can see this on what should be every package of microphones. The frequency response curve illustrates the microphone's ability to transfer acoustic energy into electric signals and whether it will do so faithfully or will introduce coloration. Now, you could say that frequency response refers to the way a microphone responds to different frequencies. The lower the hertz, the more bass, the higher the hertz, the more treble, and take care not to mistake frequency response for frequency range. The frequency range of a microphone only gives you a rough indication of which frequency range or area that the microphone will be able to reproduce sound within a given tolerance. Now frequency range, should I say, let me get that right, is often referred to as bandwidth. The human hearing range is commonly given as 20 to 20,000 Hertz. Or kHz if it was 20 kHz. However, there is considerable variation between individuals, especially at high frequencies, and a gradual decline with age is considered normal. That's just a referencing factor for you in the scheme of this explanation. A microphone with a frequency range of 20 to 20 kHz enables good roll-off and cut-off points, which effectively means that it maintains its sound quality at both ends of the frequency spectrum. Now the Microphones and More Android Max lapel microphone has the ultimate range and functionality, and in effect it is up there with the best microphone frequency range that you can get. It then lists It then lists output impedance at 680 ohms. In layman's terms, any device which generates a voltage has what is called output impedance. Impedance is electrical resistance measured in ohms. There are three general classifications for microphone impedance: low impedance, medium impedance, and high impedance. Now, high impedance, or high impedance, should I say, microphones are usually quite cheap, and they do not perform well with long distance cables, for example, and begin producing poor quality audio, and in particular loss at a loss of high frequencies. Low impedance microphones are usually quite expensive and reserved more specifically for dedicated sound recording studios. This Microphones and More Android Max lapel microphone is in the very low medium impedance range, and in effect it has one of the best impedance ratings value for money microphone. Well, it is one of the best impedance ratings value for money microphone that you can get. Now it then tells us the standard operating voltage. There are two numbers here. The lower number of 2 volts is the standard operating voltage needed by this Android Max microphone to operate with full functionality, so that the microphone can amplify and record signals fully. Now, the higher number of 10 volts of direct or DC, direct current, is the maximum operating voltage that this Microphones and More Android Max lapel microphone should be supplied. This indicates a large safety margin, and the voltage used is normally far below this amount. However, if voltage exceeds the maximum operating voltage specified, understandably the microphone can be damaged or destroyed and rendered non-functional. No surprises there. The next one on the list is the SNR. The SNR simply means the signal to noise ratio, measured in decibels, and is the ratio of signal power to the noise power corrupting the signal. The ratio compares the level of a desired signal to the level of background noise. Now, the higher the ratio, the less obvious the background noise will be, and to provide a reference to the stated SNR of 63 decibels, here are some examples of sound levels in decibels to give you some bearing of it. In light traffic, 40 decibels, 50 decibels for typewriter and loud conversation, 60 decibels for noisy traffic, and 70 decibels for normal traffic. Moving on, flip the page. And lastly, we can see the wire length at 1.2 meters, which is 3 foot 9 inches. This is simply the length of the microphone wire, which at 1.2 meters is conveniently 200 mil longer than many other microphones available. We find this is nowadays necessary for either the taller person or the larger person, whereby you want to hide that wire with comfort. Too long is unnecessary and becomes cumbersome, and too short, obviously, you cannot hide that wire, particularly around larger persons, either tall or larger. So 1.2 is we find is about the perfect length. Moving on, let's flip the page. On the front of the box we have an image of the lapel microphone and 6 images of its contents, which we will take a look at shortly. But first, let's open up the box and see the mic and all of the box contents. First up, we have this quite classy black velvet 8 by 10 centimeter bag with a green and white MMS logo. It's this microphone is an exacting piece of equipment, and a particularly velvet bag is most appropriate to keep it in when not in use. Flip the page. Inside we have the mic, which is again professional in its look and construction. The mic housing and mesh cover is polished steel. No, not plastic, or not plastic steel. It is steel, and the mic is protected from both alkaline and acid conditions. The specially wired business end of the mic has a 4-pole TRRS 3.5mm plug that is in brackets. Now this is important, more so just to understand, not necessarily the specifics, but let me go through the specifics. It's 3-4 plus wired. This is an Android standard of the wiring diagram or design that they use, and is why most microphones that you buy are either for Apple or for Android, and is the reason they only work in those products as designed, or not work as the case may be. Now, this is where the Android Max from Microphones and More differs and stands out from the crowd, because they have included this ingenious little bonus. It's called the Smart Conversion Adapter Cable. Now, The Android Max mic is made for Android devices such as smartphones from manufacturers such as Nokia, HTC, Motorola, Samsung and LG. However, by using the smart conversion adapter cable, you can also use the Android Max mic with iOS Apple devices. However, the clause is because that there are literally tens of thousands of devices out there and there is no one concrete plug wiring standard, there is no blanket guarantee that every iOS or other device will magically work with the smart conversion adapter cable. Let me now go through the technical bit of why this is so, and give you two technical reasons, one really on a layman's terms and one a little bit more technical. There are two standards of wiring a plug or connector, particularly when it relates to Apple and to Android devices. One is known as the CTIA standard and one is known as the OMPT standard. Now the CTIA is the standard that Apple use, particularly on most of their devices, or most of the devices particularly, however you want to say that. OMPT is a standard common to the majority of Android products. Most Samsung smartphones and older Sony Ericsson and Nokia smartphones are OMPT. Now, the technical bit in a slightly more complicated explanation. The Android Max is a 3.5 TRS plug that has a 3-4+ wiring and wiring diagram inside the TRS plug itself. Just because it's a TRS plug, it's not across the board. It's how it's wired on the inside, which is what this important bit is all about. And it's designed to be used with Android devices. Apple iOS devices technically have a 3+4- wiring. Now, this means that this Android Max mic may also work with many iOS devices without the need to use the conveniently included smart conversion adapter cable. However, it is recommended to use the SCAC for ultimate connection performance with iOS devices, because in one way, shape or form, even though the mic may perform without the SCAC, it may be compromised in some way, shape or form, and without knowing the exact device that is used on, we can't guarantee that it should work as it should, hence why we include the SCAC, and that way it has the best of both worlds, Android and or Apple. So you're covered. It's a quite smart inclusion on Microphones and More's behalf. However, so now moving on, next we have not one but two windscreens, and that is great on two counts. You'll have two in case you lose one, and you have a backup anytime you need to wash one. There is also an awesome wire clip that is also great on two counts. First up, it organises your lower wire, and two, it professionalises your presentation. Because the Microphones and More, the Android Max, has slightly longer cord, which is 200 without being too long, they've also included this fantastic little wire clip, which basically professionalises or tidies up or allows you to hide the mic without the thread of the cord coming out when it shouldn't come out. It's just a very appropriate inclusion to organise your lower wire. Something that many microphones, again, may even boast of a longer wire. What are you then going to do with that wire? It becomes difficult to manage, and a simple wire clip is just an excellent inclusion to the Android Max. And then there is the next inclusion, it's the information and technical data sheet. This opens up with a thank you for your purchase and a warm message from the MS&M owner Tom Black, and then goes on to give some good information about the Android Max mic and how to get the best out of it. Flipping the page, one of the great things and comforts of the Android Max lapel microphone is the satisfaction guarantee given. If you have any quality problems with your clip-on Android Max microphone, and if for any reason the product does not perform as described, simply return the clip-on microphone for a full replacement mic free of charge. Flipping the page, basically, so now that you know most appropriately, the basic parameters for this microphone are up there with the best of them. The only other challenge to get the most out of the Android Max lapel microphone is how you set it up and how you set up the recording and the transmitting devices, if that's what you are using, that you use it with. And if you are new to this or don't yet have a recorder or want to research one to download, don't worry, because Microphones and More have also taken care of this for you. Also, you can see all of this and much more on their website. It's very comprehensive on www.msandm, which is basically microphonesandmore.biz. And having done the research into the problems experienced by many people using a lapel microphone, their How to Record Pro Audio video they have hosted on their webpage will help enormously. Flipping the page, we see what you'll see when you go to that page, How to Record Pro Audio. It just happens to mention on iPhone and iPad. That's okay though, because it simply describes how to set up a microphone and how to set up your record app, and it's appropriate for both iPhone and Android devices. So basically, so ends the unveiling of this lapel microphone, the Android Max from Microphones and More. You can purchase on Amazon USA via the Microphones and More website, which you've just been given the address, or the address below will take you to that. For the best discount, visit their Bargain City purchase page at the link under this video. Thanks for listening. Chat to you soon.